my videos. Bingo. Okay, so I think we are good. Oh, can you hear this? Okay. So many notifications on my phone. But we is good. Face cam? Oh, there we go. Probably would have to turn over my thing. But, so many goddamn notifications on my phone. Good. Am I as good? Am I as good? Am I as good? Stupid thing. I think I is good? I don't know. Let's try to bring this back a bit. These guys still need to see my face. Okay. But I think we is good. Anyways, hi! Welcome to the stream. I need to do something real fast. Hopefully when she gets that, she'll probably what? I'll be already on the stream. Any people watching? No, there are no people watching. Damn it. Damn it. But anyways, let us get started. Hold on. Skip. Because I already gotten past this part. Skip mode because of this. So I can get to the part. There's them. Leave it alone. I mean, like, it really wouldn't take us that long to get to it. So we saw them. Hit him again. Yep, there we go. Become. Okay. Hold on, let me turn this over. So with it, camera's up there. There we go. Hopefully it's still recording. Good. Yay, someone's watching. Hello. This time I has got a face cam. For once. In a million years. But yeah. Down his feet. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to look so dejected. I mean, it's certainly unique. I think I'll keep it. Oh, shoot. Guess I can't do a face cam with this. Thanks.
You're welcome. It's good to see you smiling, even though the thing I made still kind of creeps me out. Anyway, you should come with me to the dining room. We're almost finished with the food, and, well, I don't mean to brag, but we're pretty decent chefs.
I'll believe that when I see it, Matthew. Sounds great. Lead the way. Something smells good. My stomach rumbled in agreement. I was starving.
Oh,
Let's skip this part because with it I want to get to the part where we were at. Sure. I don't know why I breathed. Still smack him.
No.
Because we're like that. Yes. So I didn't. Skip, 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 skip. I have to do a housewarming party for my guests. That's nice. And Malix. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
They're your brother?
No, they're not. Are you sure? Matthew with cooking. Not to him. You got a stain. Yes, I'm ready. Do 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 do.
So,
I'm so sorry about your grandfather passing away. It really hit all of us hard.
do you have college plans? What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
What do you think of the philanthropic policy the company has?
Do you think the company should expand from just toys? Honey,
Choo 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 choo. Here's my favorite part.
thanks for become the Good night, sweetie. Come visit us soon.
Will do. All four of my remaining guests have left the building, all but my dad waving back to me. With the last of the guests gone, I sighed and sat on the staircase exhausted. Phew, that was tiring. Oh, comments. That's very helpful. That is very, very, very helpful.
It's not like you had to do any work, though.
Sam, I was being interrogated left and right. Give me a fucking break. Please. Hold on.
Give her a break, man. She was getting interrogated left and right.
Thank you, Matthew.
She handled herself the best she could.
Okay, to whoever's in the chat, say hello. Because I would want to know who it is. Please. Because it says I have one watching.
As expected, princess.
Thank you, Eric.
Since you're exhausted, why not head to bed? We can clean up.
Sam, stop it.
Hush, Sam.
I like how Eric's like, hush, Sam. Are you guys sure? Whoa, too many notifications at once. I have just finished watching. Hey, Michaela! I can see your comment. That is amazing because with it, now I can see who's in it without trying to use my phone by switching back with things.
Positive. It shouldn't take long. Ho, ho, ho! It didn't take long to find you little shits after all.
I just finished watching The Prince versus the Brute. Yeah, I don't... Well, but the bad thing is, Michaela, I went to load the second one and actually saved both of the same game in two different slots because I started another one just for fun. Yeah, let's see. So basically, I'm starting back from where I left off there and trying to get back to where I am, but it wouldn't take very long. In a way, I'll go with the Brute instead of the Prince. I felt a hot shudder run down my spine. The voice of my dreams echoed through the air into my ears. I looked around, panicked, alongside the incubi. James placed a hand on my shoulder, trying to recall me. Trying to remain calm. Yeah, but we good.
Don't worry. No one will hurt you.
Thank you, Bradley.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
Shut up, Malix. Just shut up, Malix. All of us shot our heads towards the door, finally pinning down the direction of the voice. The doors quickly swung open to reveal a sight I would never expected to see. Skin red as blood, eyes black and gold piercing into mine, roughened up clothes, and a pistol in his hand. I saw a monster. I covered my mouth not to scream at the sight. Dried blood covered the bandana around his neck as he smirked at me and the boys around me. Besides, the red-skinned man was a similar-looking woman in matching thug-like clothes.
Oh, what's the matter, boys? You really didn't think I wouldn't find you, did you?
I knew that would happen.
I hoped you would, you piece of...
All of a sudden, the man raised his gun at Sam's face and instantly pulled the trigger. We all gasped in shock, instinctively expecting to see bullets run through Sam's face. But
What the fuck?
someone had other plans.
What?
What should have been a headshot ended with a loud but empty blank shot. The pistol echoed its empty shots as the man grew more and more pissed, pulling the trigger over and over in aggravation. Luckily for my ears, it became quieter after its first shot.
Why the fuck won't you work?
Because I have ways, Melix.
This place is protected.
Thank you, Jonas. Thank you, Jonah.
What did you say, shrimp?
He's no shrimp, Melix. Shut the hell up.
This place has a seal, protecting it from hellborn magic.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Ah!
The man growled and threw his gun at Sam, who was able to dodge it in time. The pistol bounced off the ground a couple of times before sliding further away, hitting the wall in a final stop. As it stopped moving, the gun faded into black flame that disappeared into the air.
The previous owner had this place protected by magic, Malix.
Thank you, you innocent cinnamon roll. Malix, that was his name. His existence resonated in my memory from the dream. Oh, shit. I had. However, I looked to Matthew in the same confusion as Malix did. This place is protected by magic?
It would seem that your grandfather had some sort of protective barrier around this house. From the looks of it, it only disables hellborn magic.
Thank you, Grandpa. Malix's face grew to that of extreme anger. His fist tightened as if he was crushing a stress ball.
What's stopping me from dragging your asses out and shooting you then?
Out of pure instinct, I stepped forward and placed myself between Malix and the boys. With no power, Malix wasn't going to fight. I took that chance to stand up to him instead of being powerless like I was in the dream. Fuck off, Malix. Malix suddenly laughed wildly, staring at me in disbelief.
Whoa! Who let the bitch out of her cage? What is this? A reverse harem or something?
His laugh, though. Max grinned at me evilly, walking close to me. Let's duck. I ducked underneath Malix's... Hold on, no. Run! What time is it where you live? It's like 7 o'clock. I ducked underneath Malix's incoming hand. I stared at his hand and his black flame tattoo in surprise. As I took a couple steps back from Malix, Matthew and Damien stepped in front of me, guarding me from Malix with their arms.
A quick one. I'm liking you more and more.
Shut it, Malix.
Back off, Malix. Don't start acting tough, you pathetic excuse of a demon. You need more protection than her. Shut up! Oh, did I make little Matthew cry? Why don't you just grow a pair?
Oh, so you're like an hour ahead of me. Also, Malix, shut the hell up, please. Matthew, calm down.
Enough, Malix.
The woman who... Yada, 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 yada. Ha 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 ha. Do 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 do. Get past this, explore the house. Don't try. I'm not doing that because of my grandfather. Hey! Pizza. Find one of the incubi. Join the hunts. He needs energy. The sinning will now begin.
Sorry.
Sex time. No, it's sinning time. We are going to be sinning as hell.
I need you to push me off.
That must have been really fun for when they recorded those lines. I have yet to get lines like that from when I voice act.
I do. But
Kiss him? Hashtag Sins Queen. Yes! There's our first gallery. Yes, baby. Keep going.
Yup.
Let's keep going. Go, 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 go. My name.
My true name isn't Matthew. My name.
My name is Kedu. Do 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 do. Stand up and walk away. Hey, don't come with me, Miss Sanderson. That's nice.
Nicely done. I'm sure those little shits will come running to find you when they realize you didn't return to your precious little mansion. They'll search everywhere for you.
Yes.
It'll be so funny when they find your dead body instead.
It's a Kedu.
What the?
Now we're getting to the part where we were. I'll go and just save right here. So I know.
You asked for it, Malik.
Ooh.
What are you? Hey. That's a load of little known. You little. Bye-bye, Malix.
Okay, we were here. We were right here. We were right here.
You little shit. You think you're all that?
Matthew brought another knife and tossed it up and down his hand, unchanging in his cool yet almost playful expression.
Little known fact. I just like having fun.
That's my type of boy.
That's a load of bull, Matthew. You won't even fight me in your demon form. Why? Are you afraid I'll kill you as a
Demon form? I didn't understand. However, Matthew broke my thoughts from trying to hear that out. Hold on. Sorry, just texting a friend. Demon form? I didn't understand. However, Matthew broke my thoughts from trying to figure that out.
Hey, mind closing your eyes for me?
Also, am I the only one who gets yandere when I hear someone else liking my senpai? Matthew is mine. But I like all the boys. I just really hate Diana in Seduce Me 1. Seduce Me 2? She is awesome. Huh?
What are you babbling about now?
Before I could answer, the tension suddenly went from warm to almost ice cold. Then, at that moment, something in the air changed. That's the best sound I've heard. The air instantly went from frantic to still in energy. What could have been described in a tone as the color red quickly turned into a deadly mix of purple and blue, as everything began to blend together all at once.
You asked for it, Malix. Now you're gonna get it.
Yes! That is my innocent boy. That is my innocent boy. That is my pure innocent boy. My eyes never strayed from Alex's face. However, even as it changed, his eyes began to glow a bright golden color as a dark blue circle formed underneath Malix's. And his eyes began to glow a bright. Hey, Jada! Now you can watch this beautifulness since you are also a Seduce Me fan. His eyes began to glow a bright golden color as a dark blue circle formed underneath Matthew's bare feet. I stared at Matthew's skin began to form and shift, changing from human to something else. For some reason, I was both scared and incredibly intrigued to see his new form. See this new form. She is blushing. Bright red. Ah, no. Before I was allowed to see Matthew's new form, however, a pair of hands quickly covered my eyes. Instinctively, I reached up and grabbed them, trying to pull them off. A voice stopped me.
It's me. Don't look.
Damien! You innocent cinnamon roll. Okay, so Matthew and Damien, in my opinion, are innocent cinnamon rolls. In my opinion. Because with it, it's just, yeah. I listened carefully and let the last two words linger in my mind. Don't look. Why? What was being hidden from me? I wanted to know. But something told me to obey Damien's command. I suddenly heard gunshots, making me tense up, but then I heard the sound of multiple stabs, followed by Malex's scream in pain. The stabbing and slashing sounds of blood. Damien? Yes! You pure, innocent cinnamon roll! You guys would be perfect together. Sounds of blood and flesh grew more frantic and in number. How many knives was Matthew using? Maybe it was better that I wasn't able to see.
Matthew, enough!
Almost instantly after James' command, the sound stopped. The only thing anyone could hear was the dripping of blood.
I guess I went a little overboard.
You think?
Alex is definitely dead, but you've lost your glamour spell.
Glamour spell? What did he mean? Why did Matthew sound so different? Why was this being hidden from me?
It's a spell that makes us look human.
Thank you, Damien. I froze. Look human? They didn't have human forms after all. What did they look like?
Like demons.
As if Eric knew what Damien was talking about, Eric cleared his throat and spoke up, followed by the sound of a cork popping out of a bottle.
Well, not for much longer, Princess. Here, Matthew.
Oh, hey, you found my potion. Thanks.
I could hear the small clinking of glass being passed before hearing Matthew guzzle down a liquid of some sort. The feel of the air around me gently began to warm back up, insinuating that everything had been returned to normal. I would marry Matthew. I would marry Matthew for life. Also, Jada, thank you for subscribing to my channel. You're awesome. Finally, Damien moved his hands from my eyes, allowing me to see around me once again. The devils, including Eris, had fled. On top of Malex's body was a dirty sheet that was quickly turned red from blood. The wall behind it was painted in red blood, still dripping onto the floor and onto the blanket. The blanket looked like it was covered in a mound of dirt instead of a body. The boys, however, had gathered around me, all of them, including Matthew, looking like nothing had happened. Whoa, what just... I tried to speak, but everything zipped around my head in the whole event, and felt like speaking wasn't possible.
Let's just get you home, miss. There's nothing more to see here.
I could only nod. What had happened boggled my mind to the point of disbelief. I was second-guessing everything, lost in a sea of what and how and when. As we walked out of the warehouse, I looked at Matthew for some form of sign that I wasn't dreaming. Matthew rubbed the back of his neck, walking forward as if to get away from what had happened. It was over. Malex was gone and the boys were finally safe. A whiff of relief ran through my body and the thought of never having to deal with that group again. At the same time, a ping of realization hit the back of my mind. The boys were only going to stay until after Malex was defeated. That was our deal. As we approached home, I could feel something heavy weighed down my heart. It was late, but the boys led me inside and turned on the lights in the lobby.
Finally, we can relax.
Yeah, after what you did, Matthew. Oh my god, it's like -2 degrees outside. I'm just seeing the I'm just seeing the weather thing on my phone. And it's -2 out. Oh my god.
It will be good to have some rest without devils breathing down our necks.
I agree, Eric. I'll be right back. Coming! I is back.
Just tired. Can I hit the hay early?
I think some sleep would be good for all of us.
I looked to Damien, knowing he could read my mind, and frowned. I didn't want him to know about my thoughts on the situation. Yeah, that sounds good. I wanted to just end tonight. Too much had happened, and I felt dizzy just trying to figure it out. However, Damien spoke up, stopping all of us from moving.
Should we be gone in the morning?
Hell no! The air became still with tension. The realization of the situation hit the boys like a wave, forcing them to turn to me in curiosity. They had remembered their deal, and were now waiting me to decide their fates. I gulped, face to face with the reality of the situation. The boys were leaving it up to me. They looked like they were willing to accept whatever I had demanded. It was only fair, though, after all that happened. Okay, Matthew, just go right in front of James. That's nice. I looked to Matthew, feeling my heart flutter in my chest. I didn't want him to leave, but when he asked to stay, I hoped he would say no and ask me to stay longer. As if he knew what I wanted. Matthew moved and stepped to me, taking my hands in his. He gently smiled to me and spoke.
I want you to know that you've been really generous to us. And I want to thank you for letting us stay here. But is it okay if we stay a little longer?
My heart skipped while a large red blush ran across my cheeks. The boy stared at Matthew wide-eyed, but didn't dare to speak out. Matthew stepped back to give me space, returning to where he was. I moved my gaze across each boy, trying to make a decision. If they left in the morning, I would never see them again, and my life could return to normal. If I did decide to let them go, that would have been for the best. No goodbyes, no delays. But did I want to? They had done so much for me in such small amount of time. Let them stay! I wanted them to stay. I wanted him to stay. I merely smiled, staring at the man and had come to feelings for it before speaking at last. I'd love it if you all could stay. How about that, guys? All the incubi are staying. That is lovely. Just yes. I'm so glad you guys are getting along together. That's nice. The boys cheered tiredly, but nonetheless, enthusiastically. I giggled at the sight. It was cute to see everyone so excited, despite the tiredness that ran equally through our bodies. Today was a rough day. My home is your home, as long as you can still help with the chores. The boys nodded in unison, agreeing to the terms I had set for them, despite the good situation. I felt myself slowly slipping into unconsciousness. However, James quickly clapped his hands together, getting everyone's attention and waking me up, making sure I didn't pass out on the floor.
All right, everyone. We're all very tired, so let's head to bed, shall we?
Oh, yeah, sleep is actually a thing. Right.
Yeah, you think, Matthew?
We've had a very long day, but it will be good to just relax tonight and tomorrow.
Yes, we get to relax. Yes.
Sleep sounds really good right now.
Yes, Jonah. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You poor innocent cinnamon roll.
Yeah, man.
I watched a happy smile grow onto Matthew's lips. He shared my excitement, knowing that we would be together longer. Who knew how long we would stay together? All I cared about was that I would be with him. The others quickly left to finally rest, leaving me and Matthew alone at last. Here's another sinning moment. Michaela put up the hashtag Sin Queen. My heart fluttered a bit as Matthew practically skipped closer to me in excitement. It was really cute to see him that way. So I didn't do anything but smile.
Thank you so much for letting us stay.
You're welcome, you poor innocent cinnamon roll. You're welcome, Matthew. I'm happy to have you stay here. I watched his smile brighten a bit before he cleared his throat and chuckled a bit. I didn't know if it was the tiredness or my growing attachment to him, but I felt myself swaying a bit on my feet. However, Matthew's face made it clear that he wanted to say something else, making me forget that my bed was also calling for me. Hashtag Sin Queens. Yes, thank you, Michaela.
Listen, about what happened at the warehouse.
No, it's fine. You did what you had to do. I understand. I had accepted everything that happened and knew that Matthew had to do what he had to do. He was real, and he was someone I didn't want to be without, even if that meant nodding against my curiosity. Besides, I was too tired to explore that memory further. Matthew nodded before holding out a hand to me.
Come on, then. Let's get you to bed.
Thank you, you innocent cinnamon roll. Oh my god, yes, thank you. I nodded before Matthew gently lifted me into his arms like a bride and carried me to my room. I didn't want to leave his arms, leaning my head against Matthew's chest, but eventually I was slowly lowered to my bed and covered with my bed covers. I was still in my school clothes, but I was too tired to strip or care. I looked to Matthew, fighting a yawn from escaping me as he gently ran a hand over my hair. God damn it, I just see the word yawn and I yawn. God damn it.
Have a good night, okay? I'll make breakfast again in the morning.
So he was the one who made breakfast. Thank you, Matthew. I nodded with a tired smile before watching him slowly stand and leave my room, closing the door. A wave of happiness washed over me as I laid in bed. I made a good choice. Sure, it would be hard, but I could tell that I would be able to manage it. Help around the house and being with a man whom I slowly started to fall for would be worth it. I slowly felt my exhaustion take over. I let sleep consume me as I drifted into the darkness in my mind. Everything was peaceful. Now here's a thing. Something may happen. I was happy.
You are an interesting creature.
That voice everyone hates. And the one word Michaela says that everyone says to that character, oh, fuck you. Diana, fuck you. It's the bitch. My mom, okay, so I showed some scenes to my mom. I agree, Michaela. I so agree. But no, with it, my mom says, I showed my mom a few scenes of Diana, and she's like, she's a bitch. He's like, name 3 reasons why I shouldn't. He's like, and my mom's like, I can name 5. So with it, we all hate this bitch in Seduce Me 1. But in Seduce Me 2, she's awesome. I opened my eyes to see a woman staring down at me with a very sly smirk on her face. I opened my mouth to scream in fright, but a hand quickly covered my mouth.
No screaming now. Too early, silly girl.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, Diana! I could only stare up at the woman above me. I still felt weak, not having the strength to move or fight her off. What was going on, and why was she here?
Why do the boys like you? You're unique, yes, but that can't be all that you have going for you.
It's one of the images. It's one of the galleries. Rage began to consume my core again. This woman, whoever she was making me mad. She must have known as she let another smirk growing onto her face.
Ooh, you're feisty. That could be why.
I never got this one. Well, because with it, I'm following the things on Steam. I'm following the rules on Steam. Before I could bite her hand in anger, she removed her hand from my lips, standing up, staring down at me in her place. Ah ha 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 ha. No 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 no. She removed her hands from my lips, standing up and staring down at me from her place next to my bed. She looked like she has a double chin. No, she doesn't. I quickly sat up and what's to do something dirty. She's a succubus. What do you expect, Michaela? I quickly sat up and glared daggers at the intruder. She was very beautiful, but I felt more anger than amusement. Who the hell are you, and why are you in my room? The woman began to laugh, making the rage inside me increase. I wanted to punch her, but I waited for her to answer.
How silly of me. I forgot that we demons are not well known of in your world. You can call me Diana, little human.
Do not call me little human, you ignorant slut. Oh yeah, also aka, cursing will be in this stream as you already heard. Yep. Diana? Demon? You're a demon?
But I'm much more than just an average demon.
You're a succubus, you ignorant bitch. What do you mean?
Silly girl. I'm a succubus.
Sorry, my friend keeps texting me. I stare at Diana in shock. A succubus? First incubi and now a succubus? Great. I had now met both genders of sex demons. Diana crossed her arms under her bosom and looked at my body.
Well, you are pretty.
Thank you.
But you seem very reckless. Too
Duh.
reckless.
The fuck? How the hell am I reckless? I moved out and stood for my bed, still glaring at Diana. I wish I had friends. Just keep going at it, girl. There's such things called online friends. That's what I have. That's most of my friends are online. I moved out and stood from the bed, still glaring at Diana. Why are you here?
Oh, I just wanted to see who my competition was.
Competition? You have no anything to me. That's a sad thing to say. Well, actually, most of my online friends are, well, most of my friends at school, I have like 1 or 2 friends. Otherwise, with it, most of the girls in my school are bitches. They're just brats. Or just plain old weird. I don't like. Competition.
For the boys, of course. They don't belong here, and yet here they remain. I want to know why, and remedy this little issue.
This girl was seriously pissing me off. Issue? What issue? They want to stay here, so they can. Hold on, see if she's in it. She's in the stream. There's 2 watching.
Silly, uneducated human. You don't understand the important roles these boys play in the abyssal planes. You keeping them here is practically imprisonment.
Sorry, I'm a total noob. I am a noob too. You are not alone, Michaela. Also, I am not practically imprisoning them. They asked to stay. You have 10 seconds to leave.
Is that a threat? How cute. What are you going to do? Kill me?
Maybe, maybe not. Depends. And if I do?
You barely have the strength to stand, little human. I can rip the rest of your energy out and knock you into a coma. You'll never be able to wake up again.
Shut the fuck up, Diana. You have 10 seconds to get out of my stream. Touch me, and I'll...
Enjoy every minute of it.
The fuck? I felt my body freeze and heat up to almost a painful haze. My mind began to feel fuzzy as Diana stepped to me and caressed my cheek. Don't touch me! Just don't touch me, Diana! And you will get fucking bitch slapped.
Now, you're going to listen to everything I say without any questions. Got it?
Fuck no, bitch! I nodded.
Good. I plan to bring the boys back to the abyssal planes. Why? So that I can take my place as queen of their realm. They have no reason to be here in this silly little world, so I'm going to make sure they return home. Okay, Pumpkin?
Don't call me pumpkin. I'm not a pumpkin. I am a wall of steel that can kill you in a second. I nodded but growled. My rage couldn't be concealed despite the hold I was under. You evil bitch. Yes, Michaela, I agree. Hashtag bitch slap. I so agree. You evil bitch.
Call me evil all you want, dearie. I'm not evil. You're just in my way.
Yeah, right. I felt Diana lean into my ear and whisper, making me unconsciously shiver in both pleasure and annoyance.
Now, be a good little human and go to bed. I'll make sure they're gone before you get home tomorrow from school, so make sure to say goodbye in the morning.
How about, oh hell no. I felt my body move on its own to lay in bed and cover itself with my bed sheets. I glared at Diana the entire way down. Diana laughed at my futility. I'll get you.
Oh, please do.
Oh, I like this form. Oh my god, I just know. The fuck is that? The hell was that?
Give me a reason to make your life a living hell.
The hell was that? Oh shit.
Give me a
I'll get you. Oh, please do. All of a sudden, her voice deepened and became cold and demonic, sending a violent, scared shiver down my spine. Her red eyes practically illuminated in the darkness of my room as she glared at me.
Give me a reason to make your life a living hell.
I can give you 1,000. Or no, I can give you 9. I gritted my teeth, trying to fight back against the hold on me. She couldn't have been that tough. She needed energy to survive, right? I was sure she couldn't have had enough to hold me down forever. Diana then laughed and returned to normal.
Oh, and make sure you don't tell the boys I was here. I want my visit to be a surprise.
Oh, we'll tell them, all right. I felt the hold on me disappear, allowing me to sit up and practically growl at Diana in rage. What's stopping me?
Then you must not care about your friends and family as much as you care for the boys.
Leave them out of this, Diana. I stopped and stared. What did she mean by that? What did she mean by that? Was that a threat to my family? Diana smirked at me, knowing the confusion behind my eyes.
Let's just say that if you tell the boys about me, I'll make sure that no one will care for you, and you'll be all alone in this little house until the day you die.
How about, oh, hell no. I could feel fear creeping into me. Alone? How could she do that? The word demon reverberated in my head, reminding me that I was facing off against something supernatural. A human with a shield versus a demon who was one thing. A human on her own versus a demon was another.
Have a good night.
I don't know why I'm saying this, but my hair is going to be a bitch to brush. You're not the only one. I have baby fine hair, and with it, oh my god, it does whatever it wants. And with that, Diana sank into the floor through a magic purple pentagram, which disappeared as her feet vanished as her head vanished into the floor. No, as her feet vanished into the floor, she goes upside down. I couldn't believe it. I had one problem and now I had another. Instead of a crazy psycho devil who wanted to kill me and the boys, I have a succubus wanting to ruin my life and take the boys away. Could my life get any worse? No, I wasn't going to let her win. She is not as powerful as she looks. I know it. I had to mentally confirm it. She wasn't going to win. The boys wanted to stay with me. I let her aside before closing my eyes, affirming my plan of action. No matter what she was going to do, I was going to beat her. Eventually, the morning arrived and the sun screamed at me to get up. Surprisingly, I woke before my alarm clock once again, which was nice. I stretched out and quickly got dressed, getting ready for school. She expected me to say goodbye to the boys, and I will say good morning, and we'll see them when I come back. No way am I going to say goodbye. I scooped up my bag and headed downstairs to the dining room, seeing the boys already eating a delicious selection of food. The smell made my stomach growl widely as the sight of food drew me to walk further into the room.
Good morning, miss. Did you sleep well?
Oh, hell no. Before I could lie, hiding the incident in the back of my mind, Damien furrowed his eyebrows and stopped eating.
She's here.
Thank you, Damien. The boys looked to Damien in confusion while I cursed his ability silently in my mouth.
Damien, what's up with you? Of course she's here. She kind of owns the house.
Damien looked at me, wanting me to explain for him. However, the threats that Diana gave me last night warned me to keep my mouth shut. Diana? Damien pressed his lips together into a fine line. The other boys looked at me with a raised eyebrow. A girl named Diana came by last night.
Diana? Is she important?
Did she try to hurt you?
You could say yes, but you could also say no, Sam. I don't know. She's a succubus. The single word made the boys stop and stare at me. I looked to each boy, unsure of what was going through their minds. Should I have avoided it?
So, she's come to try and bring us back.
Yeah, and guess what? I'm saying oh hell no to that.
She must really be desperate.
You think?
Well, what should we do now?
Nothing. She'll give up eventually.
You sure about that? Wait, actually she would. No, she wouldn't. You sure about that, Sam? I take it back. You sure about that?
Will she?
The boys continued to look at me as if I knew the answer to that question. Damn it, Damien. She said that if I told you, she'd make my life a living hell. She can't possibly do that, right? She's not a devil.
No, she isn't. However, she is a very powerful demon.
She's a princess, baby.
She's a master of mind manipulation and has been trained in illusion. Unlike other demons who use strength to get power, she uses her charisma.
Charisma, yes.
She has the power to make armies bow to her and obey her every whim. That's why she's so obsessed with us.
Thank you. She ain't taking my meds. I agree, Michaela. She ain't taking my meds on my head. What do you mean?
Well, she sort of has family ties to us. She was promised to marry one of us in exchange for more power.
And she's gonna try to get a little pure innocent cinnamon roll Matthew. Guess what? We ain't gonna let that bitch get him.
She's just some whacked up hussy who doesn't know how to close her legs. She's not a real threat.
I agree, Sam. That's her and just in total. And I'm gonna put my microphone down and I'm gonna get myself a jacket because I am like freezing in my room. Well, of course it is -2 out, so that makes a difference. I just got a blanket. Sam, I love you. So you love Alejandro. Alejandro, yes.
Oh, really? I feel insulted.
There's the bitch again. The boys and I looked around the room, wondering where the voice came from. I felt cold sweat run down my back and the back of my neck in fear, remembering what kind of power she had. At last, we saw Diana in the entrance of the kitchen, juggling a single red apple in her hand as she leaned against the archway. The boys quickly surrounded me, glaring at the intruder.
So, you took up a human name as well.
Beautiful name, isn't it? Well, for a human name, anyway.
What the hell do you want?
To bring you back, of course. However, you weren't supposed to know that I was coming. I completely forgot about that little mind-reading ability. My mistake.
You are no, Diana. Diana pushed off the archway and walked towards us, making the boys step closer to me in a protective circle. Diana laughed.
My. What has the world come to? A group of demons protecting a human girl? I'll tell you right now, she's not that pretty. And from what I can tell, she's still a virgin.
Oh, hell no! She's not pretty, and from what I can tell, she's still a virgin. Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no! Hashtag bitch warning. Yeah, I agree. But with it, just no. I want to kick her ass. My face grew red in complete anger and embarrassment. How dare she? Hold on, I'm just trying to keep myself warm. Just trying to keep this blanket, so I'm just gonna hold it while having the microphone by my mouth. Just stay silent for now. Diana chuckled and smirked at me, know that I wanted to hit her, but had control of myself.
Such control you have, human. You know your place very well.
I wanted to say, oh, hell no, but I don't know what that does, and I really don't want to do that because yeah. I didn't control the growl that escaped my throat, however.
Well, will you all change your minds? I assure you, it's for the greater good.
No, it isn't. I expected the boys to say no. What I heard was complete silence. None of the boys replied to Diana, which made me both nervous and fearful as to why. Diana leaned her head back a bit, surprised for a different reason. You slap a bitch. I will slap a bitch. I will slap that bitch.
No. Well, I see.
They said no. They stay in here. That's right. Was silence truly them saying no to her? I looked around at the boys and saw the disobedience in their eyes, giving me my answer. I felt my heart flutter, especially when my eyes landed on Matthew. He kept close to me, glaring daggers into Diana. I could feel that he was completely adamant in his choice to stay. I don't know why, but I was incredibly happy to know he wanted to stay. Diana sighed and pressed a finger to her temple, rubbing it gently.
Either all of you are playing a very convincing hard-to-get game, or you all must be out of your minds.
I don't know. It could be both. I'm going to keep my mans, okay, honey? Yeah, I agree. Diana then looked at me, locking her gaze with mine as if to read me. I could tell she wanted me to do something, but the boys would stop her, so the stare was her only available action. After a small moment of silence, Diana licked her lips before breaking the gaze battle and smiling to the boys around me.
Very well. I guess I'll take my leave now.
Shut it. Diana, you bitch. What? Her leave? Was she serious? The boys around me straightened up and grew confused on their faces as Diana stepped back and away from us with a small bow, flaunting her cleavage. Without another word, a deep purple pentagram appeared under her feet, and Diana's body slowly sank into the floor. As her head vanished to the floor, the pentagram vanished. At once, the boys relaxed and slowly began to return to their spots at the table, each in deep thought.
She'll be back, but she won't kill us. She needs us alive.
Yeah. True.
Whatever. We'll just keep saying no. She can't force us to come back.
That's right, Matthew. You have your own opinion.
She can't do anything but annoy us. Eventually, she'll give up.
That's right, Sam.
That's the hope, anyway.
Don't jinx it, Eric. Hopefully. Matthew walked over to me and held my hand gently, looking at me with a smile.
Everything will be okay. Promise.
Thank you, honey. I nodded, feeling that he was telling the truth, or at least a hopeful and comforting. You have glasses, right? Yeah. And comforting thoughts, and smiled back. Matthew gently leaned close to me and kissed my cheek. And brown hair? Yeah. I had on my webcam earlier and it turned off. And it stopped the stream because I couldn't have anything better than that. Kissed my cheek, however, making me blush and forget what I was thinking about. The sound of collective chuckles and playful snickers whispered through the air, making me blush even more. But the laughter stopped as Sam let out an oof after a fluffy object collided with his face. Simon! I looked up to Matthew, who was glaring at his brothers, holding up a fluffy anime plushie. He and I pulled away from each other as the sound of Naomi's car appeared. I quickly ate my food and waved to the boys and left, confident that nothing was going to happen. Don't second-guess yourself, Victoria. Never ever say that nothing will happen before the day is over. I have glasses as well. That's cool. I avoided talking about the ride back home yesterday, saying that the ride was a one-time thing. I'll be riding with you guys from now on to and from school. The girls seemed very happy. We entered the school, quickly gathering our things from our lockers and headed to class. There was no events, to our surprise. History wasn't exactly fun, but our teacher was great. At least he would have been great if he was in class that day. Simon, get off my men's. I don't know, 'cause with it, Simon, since we're going for Matthew, Simon has to learn to live with them. Naomi and Suzu took their seats around me, Suzu in front of me and Naomi beside me. Before the class bell rang, the class was greeted by the dean.
Students, you'll be having a substitute for class today. Everyone meet.
Get ready for that hashtag bitch warning, Michaela. Just have it and just post it now. Just do hashtag bitch warning. Just do that right now before I click the screen. Yeah, true. Just do hashtag bitch warning right now, Michaela, before I touch the screen. Just do it right now.
Miss Diana.
The bitch is here. My heart stopped at the door with the dean. Where the dean was Diana, looking over the students and smirking as her eyes landed on me. She strutted to the teacher's desk, ignoring or welcoming the whispers from the other students, before sitting on the wood, crossing her legs. Also, for once, she keeps her legs closed. That's nice. Oh, hell nah. I agree, Michaela. I'm like, at the first time I saw this, like, oh, hell nah. My mom was like, oh, hell no.
Thank you, Dean. You can go now.
With a wave of Diana's hand, the dean left the classroom, closed the door, and left the area. Diana smiled at us, making my stomach turn. What was she going to do?
So, history. History. Such a silly thing, isn't it? I mean, what do we care about the past? We're in the present.
I already don't like her already. The rest of the class, including Naomi and Susie, hesitantly nodded in agreement, unsure about this new teacher, but willing to listen to more and more of what she had to say.
The present is so full of wonderful things. While the labors of the past are the reason we have many things, it is our chance and privilege to utilize what has been given to us.
Yeah, right now. Her charm was almost infectious. The class was practically staring to eat out of her hand. I looked around this class, was grinning and agreeing with Diana. I pressed my lips together and listened further. I had no choice.
What's even funnier about human beings is that some of the bits of history we hear as either made up or completely biased to one side. It's like a story you read as a child.
She's talking about the fairy tale stories about incubi and succubi and demons.
You hear of the princess and the prince, and they live happily ever after. But what about the family she left behind? What of her friends?
She talking about us, bitch. The students listened and agreed intently with her words. I could tell, however, that these words were all targeted at me.
The original story of the Little Mermaid, a perfect example of biased opinion. Here we have a girl who thinks she can be with this prince, but this prince has to marry a princess.
You will not be talking about my sweet, innocent cinnamon roll, Matthew. I will fucking kill you, Diana.
What would happen if the mermaid had her way? What makes the mermaid so important that the princess has to suffer the consequences?
Yeah, good luck with that. Okay, should I say it doesn't matter what happens to the princess, or keep quiet? What should I do? If you've ever done the full routes, what have you chose? Hold on.
What would happen if the mermaid had... What would happen if the mermaid had her way? The original story... What would happen...
Protective. Michaela, would you say the first choice or the second choice? But thing is, I've always chosen the second choice, knowing of what's gonna... I'm just gonna say keep quiet. I kept my mouth shut. There was no way I was gonna let her get to me. Despite of her being this teacher, I was going to ignore her. There was no telling what she could do if I talked back. Diana looked at me, expecting me to speak, but I merely stared at her. A smirk graced her face, a glare graced mine. I didn't need to fight to win.
It's still something to think about, however, as we think of this story. It's so easy to believe that the mermaid was the heroine.
Too late. I'll go with the next choice for when she does it.
Why should the princess suffer the antics of a mermaid? The princess didn't do anything wrong to her.
More nonsense. I knew this was all a subliminal message to me to make me pity her. My anger didn't allow any leeway to feel pity for her. How long was she planning to drag this out? She wasn't a real teacher. Diana continued to rave about the injustice that Princess had to suffer through while the mermaid was in the prince's sight. To Diana, it was injustice. To me, it was a fairy tale. The boys chose me. He chose me. She wasn't going to convince them otherwise, and I wasn't going to let her win. Diana stretched her arms out, making an obvious sexual noise that made some of the boys of the class shift in their seats. I rolled my eyes.
Well, that's enough about fairy tales. After all, the Little Mermaid was fated to lose her prince in the original story anyway. It was for the better, though. The kingdoms, I'm sure, flourished, and the prince and princess lived happily ever after.
Fuck you, Diana. I'm gonna go with the second room. No word. Okay. Should I do how can you be so sure? Because with it, if I say not a word, well, if I talk back to her, who knows what she will do to me with her powers and stuff, since she has the ability to manipulate minds and make illusions. But if we don't say a word, then we will be safe. Should we do the how can you be so sure? Can you imagine voice acting this? Yeah, I can imagine it would be so bad. But I have a feeling I'm just going to go with the first one because with it, we'll experiment with things next stream from when we do this. Yeah. I could tell that she was trying to pull me to speak more and more. I knew she was wrong, but I was intimidated enough to fall for her words but I wasn't intimidated enough to fall for her words and speak up. I decided to just watch and observe for the remainder of class. Her class had become a lecture and no one spoke as she spouted nonsense. Diana then stopped talk and looked at the clock on the wall, reading it quickly. This class had barely begun. Why was she looking at the time? Diana then leaned against the blackboard and smiled at us. I became worried.
You know what? School isn't important. Everyone, go ahead and head home. Take the week off.
Students then began to chat happily or in confusion of the situation. Many thought it was a dream come true. What the hell was that? The hell was that? Or chat happily in confusion of the situation. Many thought it was a dream come true. Others knew better. Before anyone could protest, however, Diana pressed a finger in her lips and counted down with a finger in the air. 3, 2, 1. The speakers of the classroom gently awoke, giving us an announcement we would never believe.
Attention students. Due to an emergency faculty meeting, we will be closing school for the remainder of the day and this entire week. Please leave the school quickly and quietly and have a good rest of the week.
She used her powers on them. Damn it. I felt the need to stop her, but how could I stop a demon in the middle of a public area? Diana smiled before gesturing to the door.
Have a nice week off. School will resume next week.
Many of the students filed out, chatting to each other about the new impromptu plans. Susan was beyond happy, but Naomi was hesitant. Before we could pack up and leave, however, Diana stepped to us. Hey, I got to go. I'll text you when I can. Okay, I'll let you know when I'm not recording, Jada. So just know.
Excuse me, little miss. I'd like you to stay a little while. There's something we need to discuss.
Fuck you, Diana. As Diana looked to Susan and Naomi, she snapped her fingers, making my friends tense up.
You two can head home. Don't worry about your friend until next week, okay? If you contact her, she won't reply, so don't bother. If she contacts you, ignore her, because she's just fine.
Fuck you, Diana. As if on command, Suzu and Naomi left the room. I tried to march after them, but Diana stepped in my path, warning me with her eyes as if I followed. There would be hell to pay. I had lost my two friends, at least for a week. Diana and I were alone, just like she wanted. I slammed my hands on the desk in front of me and glared at Diana. What are you doing, and what are you thinking?
What? Do I not make a good teacher? I figured you should have a little lesson, so I took matters into my own hands.
Okay, one, you are not a good teacher, and two, she says, I figured you should have a little lesson, so I took matters in my own hands. You little bitch. Whatever you're trying to do won't work.
You really think so, dear? And what makes you so sure about that?
Because the boys will stay with me because they don't want to go with you. Matthew will be my husband. What was making me so sure? Why was I confident? Were the boys worth this? My thoughts began to fill with doubt. All the uncertainties about this whole ordeal began to cloud my mind. If the boys were ever found out, there'd be hell to pay. Was it worth it? What about Diana? What would she do to me? Would she make my parents forget about me completely? Would she ruin my friends' lives out of spite? In my gut, I felt a stone of confidence try to fight back. But the heaviness of my thoughts began to dissolve the stone little by little. What was going on with me? I looked up to Diana once again to see her gaze boring into my eyes. She was using her powers on me. This time, I was away from home, so I couldn't escape. Or could I? Did I want to? The way she stared at me made me feel warm and fuzzy inside my chest. I felt like melting. Diana lifted my hand under my chin and ran her thumb over my lip, licking her own. I could feel shots of energy zipping from under my skin into my chin where she held me.
Now, let's have a little taste of that sweet, virginal sexual energy.
Bitch warning. Hashtag bitch warning. How about fuck you, Diana? I watched as she leaned in, ready to kiss me and take my energy. Half of my body felt elation at the idea. The other half completely rejected it and didn't want her to even touch me. Matthew. Suddenly, Diana stopped in her tracks.
Matthew? Who is...
Then it dawned on her.
Ah, one of the boys. Why don't you tell me which boy is Matthew?
I felt myself nodding complaints. The fourth. Diana giggled and replied before letting go my face and stepping back.
Really? The child with you?
He's no child, okay? Matthew is no child. He is a man. In my eyes. He is a man in my eyes, so shut the hell up, Diana. I nodded once again, but this time it was partly my own decision to reply. Diana let out a sound that mimicked a cat's purr before stepping away from me.
All right, then. Well, if it's the fourth son you're infatuated with, you should really rethink your romantic options.
Shut the fuck up, Diana. Let's see who's still watching. You still there, Michaela? Aw, poor Kylo. He's whining. Diana chuckled before kissing my nose, where I felt a shot of energy zap on my body, almost making me dizzy and recoil. Diana then turned to the desk and sat on the wood, crossing her legs.
You can go now. Remember, no class for the rest of the week.
Shut the hell up, Diana. And how am I supposed to get home? My two friends left me here thanks to you.
Oh, were they your ride? My apologies. Let me help then.
Diana then lifted her hands and snapped her fingers. Suddenly, I felt the floor sink from underneath me, forcing me to look down. A purple pentagram surrounded my feet, pulling me into the ground. Whoa! Before I could fight, however, I sank fully into the floor, fading into darkness and shutting my eyes. As I opened them, I felt silk sheets around me, soothing my anxiety from the darkness as that had previously surrounded me. What the? Why did Diana bring me home? Was this an illusion? Was I being tricked? Something was going on. I sat up in bed, looking around me. I was indeed in my room. There was no mistake about that. Why? Diana is too strange. What was this? Was this a game? Was this part of her plan to get the boys back? I was lost and confused more than ever, despite my illogical thoughts trying to piece the puzzle that is Diana together. The more I tried to solve it, the less I understood about the situation I was in. I was interrupted, however, by my door suddenly opening, revealing the boys with Damien's hand on the doorknob. Oh no! Hold on, my headphones died. guess what? All it takes is a little unplugging of that.
Miss, what are you doing here?
There we go.
Aren't you supposed to be in school?
No, we are not. I furrowed my eyebrows and stared at Damien, asking him to answer their question through my thoughts.
Diana sent her back here. She invaded her school and sent all the students back home.
It's Diana, not Diana. Diana.
What is that bitch up to? Seriously, Diana's playing around for no reason.
Thank you, Sam.
Maybe it's part of her plan.
I agree, Matthew. The boys continued to argue back and forth about Diana, fueling an almost jealous curiosity in me. Damien seemed to be too deep within the talking to notice my thoughts, for he didn't even stop talking alongside his brothers. Why was Diana after them? Why did she want to bring them back? What was so important about the boys that she would travel to the human world to get them? What was going on? I thought enough was enough. I needed answers. Hey! The boys stopped arguing, staring at me in surprise. I held my hands and fists on my lap, mustering the courage to continue and continue to speak despite my abrupt shout. Why is Diana here? Why does she want to bring you all back? What exactly do you all run from? Why did you run from it?
Miss, we...
Don't miss me. Please, I need to know what is going on. I won't be left in the dark about this. I want to know what I am facing. The boys looked at each other hesitantly, unsure of what to reply. Finally, Sam pushed Damien towards the bed, making him buckle and land on his knees with his torso over the edge of the mattress.
Damien, do the thing.
I'm just picturing it and stuff, and Sam just going, just Sam doing that, and then I was like, is something going on that I need to know? Like, is someone going to woohoo someone?
Sam.
The thing? What thing?
Sam, you're not suggesting.
Why not? She deserves to know everything, especially if Diana is targeting her.
Sam's right.
I guess we have no choice then.
Thank you. I was getting confused. What was Damien about to do? Damien stood before climbing onto the bed with me, sitting across from me on his knees.
We're going to show you everything. You have to trust me, okay? The minute you stop trusting me, the vision will stop.
Vision?
He'll be okay. Just trust him.
Thank you. Thank you, honey. Thank you, Matthew. I looked to Matthew, unsure of what was going on, but I nodded. If this was the only way to learn, then this was my chance to know. Damien gently placed his hands on each side of my head, gently pressing his thumbs into the skin above my eyebrows. I could only stare at Damien as his eyes began to glow gold, and his energy began to be both pulled out of me and forced into my head. Within seconds, my vision went black once again. I was unsure of what Damien was doing, but soon shapes and textures slowly began to appear around me. I found myself sitting on a stone floor in the middle of what looked like a fantasy throne room. Sorry, I was taking off my makeup. It's fine. Where am I? I looked down at myself to stand only to see my body as translucent as a ghost. Whoa! I jumped up and inspected my hands in a sudden panic. I was see-through? Why? What was going on?
How dare they try to negotiate with me? Do they not know whom they speak to?
Hi, Demon Lord. I gasped and ran behind a nearby pillar away from the voice. The sound of his anger and words frightened every bone in my body, turning me into a frightened child.
My lord, please calm yourself.
Hi, little one. Hi, little pig.
Calm? You're merely testing my resolve. I have more than half of a mind to send my greatest armies to take what should be mine. They are mere insects in the way of my kingdom's expansion.
Yeah.
They merely asked for a marriage joining.
That's the one Diana's talking about.
So I'm to bow to them and share my land that I have so rightfully conquered?
I peeked from behind the pillar to see a large demon covered in royal clothes, but buffed enough to be a military commander. His rage practically emanated from his body as he growled at his servant.
They are willing to give their land to you, sire. All they ask is for one of your sons to marry their daughter, whom I might add is as beautiful as can be.
This is ridiculous. To suggest that I need their approval to take their land is beyond insanity. What makes them think I care about their precious daughter?
I could agree for you on there, Demon Lord, and stuff. Yeah.
Did I mention that she is a prodigy of her kind, sire?
A prodigy?
It's like he doesn't know what a prodigy is.
Yes, my lord. This succubus is a master of her skills in magic and mind manipulation. She is said to sway armies with a snap of her fingers, despite being as young as she is.
Now we know why we're with it. She was able to manipulate the whole entire school.
Impossible.
It's possible.
If only it were, sire. This succubus is dangerous, but would be a great asset to have should we agree to this arrangement. The only reason she cannot faze you, my lord, is because you are the strongest demon in the plains.
Is this supposed to change my mind?
Yes, my lord.
It didn't.
You are doing a terrible job at convincing me.
Thank you.
My apologies, sire.
I really don't like that demon servant because, sorry if I'm just moving around and stuff. I really don't care right now. I'm just having so much fun. I was lost. I could tell that they were talking about Diana, but why?
Father.
Oh my god! James! I want to get a pillow for my back. Sitting on a stool really isn't well. Oh, his voice. I agree. Again, sorry if I'm waving this around and you hear something. Because I really don't care. Father?
Raystrow, have you finished your training?
Rachel. James!
Yes, Father.
His voice! His voice!
Then what do you want? I want to be with my brothers the best of the day, Father.
The demon commander walked to the young demon and gripped his hair, picking him up off the ground and forcing him to look at his snarl. The young demon, however, looked unfazed.
Arrogance. Why should I allow you to be with them? I should kill you for your lack of respect to me. Because I want to be with them, Father.
And James is not fazed by this at all. Oh my god. How? I could only stare at this young demon face his father, despite the massive difference between them. This young demon seemed weaker and easy to kill versus the demon commander. Why would this man kill his son, though? This was the commander that... Was this commander that ruthless? Agree. However, I wasn't expecting him to laugh and release the young demon.
Good! Assertive even in the face of danger. That is why you are my favorite son.
And that's the reason why the others are total trash to him. I could only stare wide-eyed as the commander placed his hand on the demon's shoulder.
Very well. Go. Tomorrow, you will show me your training.
The little demon grinned widely before running off.
I have a thought.
Yes, my lord.
How old is this daughter?
As old as your 5th, sire.
Damien. I'm doing the Twaim's hand fan right now. I remember I used to watch Twaim's. And now that I don't, I'm just like,
Do you believe this proposal is worth it?
Yes, sire.
Tell those insects that they are safe for now. I will consider their offer.
Oh, how come you change your mind so easily, Demon Lord?
Sire, are you certain?
Did I stutter? Now go!
The demon servant quickly ran off, but as soon as he passed the pillar I was hiding behind, he along with the commander vanished into thin air. What the? What would happen? What had happened? I didn't get any time to try and figure out before a demon who looked around my age walked into the room reading a book. Is that...
Racetrow, your nose is stuck in those books. Will you not lift your head up from them once in a while?
My mom's in my fucking room. Oh, dear Lord, I feel bad for you. And also, Eric! Yes, it's Eric, yes. Huh? That voice. I circled around the pillar to see a second demon leaning against another pillar and smirking at Racetrow.
Aren't you supposed to be with your mother practicing the harpsichord?
Harpsichord? Ooh, that sounds fun.
I am, but I had a feeling that you were in danger.
Brotherly love! Brotherly love, yes.
In danger? What are you...
Attack!
All of a sudden, 3 shadows zipped through the room and slammed into Racetrow, forcing him to fall to the ground and drop his book. As the sight cleared for me, there were 3 other demons in a dog pile with Racetrow at the bottom.
Get up!
I feel bad for you, James.
No way! You haven't had a break in months from those stupid books. It's time for punishment!
There's your senpai Sam.
Death by brotherhood!
Okay, okay, so that's Matthew. So who would be that one who's like, father? Damien. It would have to be Damien.
No more reading!
Who would have been that? That would have had to been,
I told you that you were in danger.
I suddenly knew who these demons were. It's the boys. Even in the demon world, their brotherly connection was astounding. They were mere young versions of themselves. One of the demons, who I assumed was Matthew, grabbed the book from the floor and opened it, reading it mockingly.
How can you read this, Racetrow? It's all about war strategy. It's boring.
I have to, Zakaru. Get up!
I just can't help but cringe at this.
There's only one thing you need to know about strategy. Kill them all. Take no prisoners.
There's your senpai.
You sound just like father.
He can... Christopher is not a good person for being a child, dear Lord. I am doing that too, Michaela. I couldn't help but giggle. It was cute to see them acting childish with each other. Eventually, James managed to push his brothers off of him and stand, brushing himself off.
You all are reckless.
At least we have fun.
It's true. You haven't been with us in weeks. Don't you think it's time for a break?
But I'm sure Father won't mind.
But I have to... I know you want to, Racetrow.
And so it was Damien. No. It could be... No. It's either James or stuff, because isn't James his favorite? I'm sad. It's over. What do you mean? Oh, the thing.
What is going on here?
Uh-oh, they're in trouble. I shot my head up to the voice of to see the commander, aged a little, staring at the boys with his arms across his chest. Damien quickly dashed and hid behind Sam, peeking over his shoulder to see the large commander.
Nothing is going on. We just passed by each other.
Then why does your brother have your book?
I was showing him what I was learning, Father.
Return to your studies, Ray Stroud. The rest of you out of my sight. Do not disturb your brother again.
That's why. Okay, so James is his favorite. I could only stare as James gently took his book and, without looking at his brothers, returned to reading. The commander walked past the remaining brothers, growled at Sam and Damien before leaving the room.
Don't worry about it.
What was up with that?
Don't worry about it. We'll find a way to get him back.
I don't know. He's on a very tight leash.
I agree, Matthew. Damien.
Ezra, you're quiet. What did you hear? He's going to a negotiation meeting. He's going to arrange a marriage.
Yes.
A marriage? For who?
Sandra's like, a marriage? I hope I'm not getting married.
It must be for one of us. He hasn't decided who will marry her. It's a girl from a kingdom he wants to take over.
But that's uncharacteristic of him. Usually he'd just attack with the army.
Whatever the case is, one of us is getting married. I hope it isn't me. What about Ray Stroud? He's the eldest.
It would make sense, but having a succubus marrying one of us means that she'll be practically married to all of us.
That is true, after all.
Well, what should we do?
We should just run. Before the conversation could continue, the boys vanished into thin air, fading into different mists. They were replaced by an older Damien and Matthew sitting with each other in the middle of the throne room.
Do you think we should?
Oh my god, Matthew, Nah, Matthew, nah. Nah.
I really want to. I want to as well. Still, it'll be hard to convince Ray Stroud, since he's the one about to be married, and he's the favorite.
So Ray Stroud is getting married to Diana. That's new.
We don't know that, Takeru. Maybe she's set to marry you. No way! I don't want to get married.
You only want to get married to me, honey.
I don't think you'll have a problem with that baby face of yours.
Here comes Handlebars. I looked over to see Sam join the duo, crossing his arms and raising an eyebrow at his brothers. No, but with it, the reason why I said, and here comes Handlebars, because of his horn. You can literally use it as handlebars. Is Kylo okay? Hey, handlebar. Hey, hashtag handlebars. Yep.
What are you two talking about?
We got into contact with the human world again.
Come on, Ezreal. Give humans too much attention.
No way, you gotta listen. They apparently have stores and books and schools and stuff.
So what? It's full of humans who piss on each other for no reason. They're no better than the devil spawn.
That is not true, Sam. That really isn't true.
Nuh-uh, the one we were talking to wasn't like that.
The grandfather. The grandfather. 'Cause nuh-uh, the one who we were talking to wasn't like that. Meaning the grandfather was different.
How do you know, Sakeru?
Because I do.
What is going on here?
There's James.
They want to go to the human world.
The human world? Rayshiro, think about it. You won't have to marry that girl and be the heir anymore. You could be with us, and we can make lives for ourselves in the new world.
Now you're just talking nonsense.
Sam, you know you want to leave this place.
I vote that we do it.
Thank you, Eric.
Huh? Oh, not you two.
Yep.
Think about it. This may be our chance to finally get away from this political nonsense we're stuck in. We may be nobles, but we're still our own beings.
James, you know you want to agree.
Ristrao is in.
What? Azrael?
Yep.
Whoa, so how do we get there? Are you kidding me? You don't even know how we'd get there.
A simple spell should work, but it would require someone from the human world to help us get there.
We can ask him.
I knew it was the grandfather. It is the grandfather.
Oh, he'd definitely help us.
I'm not so sure about.
Reisra, aren't you tired of pleasing Father all of the time?
I am, but
If you stay, you'll be married off and become ruler of Father's kingdom.
Yeah, I know. He's a wizard.
No time for yourself or with us, and you'll be constantly at war with the other realms for power. You'll most likely turn into the spitting image of Father.
What he's saying is, get your head out of your ass and let's go. If you don't
It's
do
true.
this, I'll drag your princely ass with us. I don't care what that bastard of a father wants. Come on, Racero.
Go with Matthew.
all right. Let's do this. What's the plan?
Yes! I couldn't believe what was happening. I was seeing the history of their lives before my eyes. They were nobles, and James was the heir to the kingdom the commander ruled. Even more so, he was going to be married to Diana. They sacrificed everything to leave and be together. They'd rather be free than remain in their noble roles. I cannot talk. I started to feel a little jealous. They were able to leave while I was still expected to be with what my father wanted me to be. How they were able to leave was uncertain still, but I knew I would learn in time. I closed my eyes and mentally asked Damien to end the vision. As soon as I asked, the world around me slowly vanished, and I was brought back to the bedroom where I sat with my head nestled in Damien's hands. My vision became clear, letting me fully see the boys around me, all with concerned faces.
So, you now know exactly who we are.
Yes, we do, and you all are hot. Hashtag Sin Queen. Diana is the girl you were arranged to marry.
Not anymore. Once we left, the arrangement was broken. With no sons to marry off, her dad couldn't go through with the marriage deal.
Thank you!
If Diana is here for us, that means she's trying to save her kingdom from being attacked.
That's not true. She wants to rule our kingdom. Having one of us will give her the right to our kingdom, as much as we'd have right over hers.
That's true.
So she's a gold digger.
Thank you, Matthew!
Well, with a kingdom like ours, what succubus wouldn't want to marry us for it?
Someone who isn't Diana? It made all sense. She wanted them so that she could finally take over an imposing kingdom. She knew that, and despite her powers, she would be able to fight against she wouldn't be able to fight against their father. So she had to find another way in. That manipulative. Before I could continue, I felt my head suddenly got heavy and dizzy. I gripped my head, feeling under my breath. What the?
I took too much. I'm so sorry.
Rest now. There's no need to do anything more today.
Matthew, stay with me. The boy suddenly rushed over and helped me lay back down as my vision was painted in white polka dots. I needed to sleep badly, and suddenly I closed my eyes and let darkness consume me. Kyla, you mouthy son of a bitch. After what seemed like hours, I finally woke up slightly refreshed. My body knew that if I slept any longer, I'd be up all night, which was no part of the plan for the day. I rubbed my eyes and sat up, letting a soft groan escape my lips. In response, something beside my bed shuffled, causing me to look over. Matthew! I didn't know what I was expecting. Yes! Beside me, sitting in a chair beside the bed, was Matthew, rustling himself up to see me awake. I smiled at him, and he seeing his slightly ruffled hair and tired eyes.
Oh, you're awake. How do you feel?
Matthew, you need sleep, innocent one. Matthew nodded before he looked down at the bed, taking my hands into his.
I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry.
Stop apologizing, you innocent cinnamon roll. I forgive you. Matthew, it's not your fault.
No, please listen. I know that Diana and Malix have come after you because of us. So it's our fault that you're constantly in danger.
It's not your fault, Matthew.
If I hadn't convinced everyone to come to the human world, we would have never been attacked by Malix and hunted down and brought you in danger and...
I quickly reached over and put my finger on his lips, stopping him from going any further. I didn't want to hear anymore. Matthew, it's okay. I wanted to help you out. I offered to let you all stay. Nothing is your fault. I gently moved my hand and cupped Matthew's cheek, staring at him with concern. I didn't want him to hold guilt in his mind about this whole ordeal. Diana was desperate and she'd hunt anyone for them. It wasn't his fault. She was desperate enough to hunt them down. However, I grew curious. So, Matthew, you're a noble. Matthew looked at me and gave me a goofy smile.
I was once, but even if I had the title, I didn't really feel like a noble.
How come?
Well, I was the fourth noble son of the Demon Lord. With Eric and Sam ahead of me in case James couldn't fulfill his duties, there was no way I was getting the throne. So, I spent the majority of my time trying to make my mother happy. She was always unhappy.
Aw, poor baby. Unhappy? How come?
Well, my dad was kind of, well, he married 4 different women. Each of us came from a different mother, and my mother was the last to be married and bear a son. The thing with succubi, though, is that they get jealous very easily.
Yeah, no dip. So, what happened?
The other wives got mad and scorned each other. It wasn't violent, but we never ate together for a reason. My mom, though, was too proud to have jealousy. She was the last woman the Demon Lord married, so she felt important. She felt that because he stopped marrying, she had the charm to stop his marrying spree.
Oh no! Matthew let out a small laugh and a hint of depression lingered in his breath that he let out.
But then the Demon Lord took another woman and she bore him a son outside of wedlock. Damien. The wives, including my mother, were furious. In response, the Demon Lord had a spell cast on them, turning them into spiritual orbs.
Oh no! That's horrible. Matthew nodded, pressing his lips together in both agreement and sadness.
They could never have physical form, and they lost all their powers. They became slaves trapped in the Demon Lord's castle. However, they were kept alive to make sure their sons grew up to be competent demons.
I'm sorry. Matthew gently shrugged, letting a small nostalgic smile grace his lips.
She taught me how to be a demon, though. Not just a demon. A grown, adult demon. I read books. I learned strategy. Everything that James was doing under the Demon Lord's watch. Only, I trained with just my mother.
That's nice to hear, Matthew. You're so sweet.
She wanted me to surprise the Demon Lord one last time. And maybe take the throne away from James.
What? Matthew then reached into his pocket and took out a small mirror.
Here, I'll show you.
Ah! Another vision! Yay! Hold on. Matthew handed it to me and sent a wave of blue mist into it. It began to glow until it enveloped the room in a bright light. When the light had subsided, I was back in the main hall of the demon castle. I looked around, feeling unable to move, but I could practically see everything as clear as I had before. However, my focus gathered on Matthew sitting on the throne as if it was his and reading a book. For some reason, Matthew reminded me of James at that moment. He seemed engrossed in his reading each word and absorbing each meaning. Him on the throne surprisingly fitted him. There was something about him.
This is an easy read.
A saddened cry, however, echoed through the hall, forcing Matthew to stop, close the book, and stand from the throne. That said.
Mother?
I looked around, confused at the cry and where it was coming from. It seemed to just echo through the room without any source of direction. Matthew sighed and placed the book on the armrest of the throne before he cupped his hands together.
Fly and comfort her, will you?
As Matthew opened his hands, a small bird with blue and purple feathers perked up from the hiding place. Matthew smiled before releasing it into the air. I watched it as it flew off and glided through an open archway. The sound of its flapping wings faded into the air as it flew farther into the castle. I could tell that Matthew was holding his breath. He must have cared very deeply for his mother. It was incredibly sweet. At last, the sound of the crying stopped, making Matthew release a happy sigh.
There we go.
That's nice of you, Matthew. Matthew cracked his knuckles in approval and reached for his book. However, before he could graze at the cover with his fingers, a sound of pattering entered the room.
You, what son? Away from the throne!
Fuck you, demon servants. Fuck you, pig.
All right.
I really hate that demon servants.
What am I going to do with you? You're a child.
No, he's not. Matthew glared at the servant as the servant quickly brushed the throne off, like there was dust all over it.
The next time I see you on the throne, I will inform the Demon Lord. Understand?
Yes.
The demon servant continued to brush over the throne before knocking the book from the armrest. Matthew froze and the servant quickly padded over and picked it up.
What is this? A book? Why do you have it?
I was reading.
You read? You don't need to read. You're never going to need knowledge for anything, fourth son.
Screw you, demon servants. I saw Matthew's eye twitch, making me grimace. The servant sure had a mouth. I was annoyed at the very least.
I'll just take this book and bring it to the heir himself to read. He's reading faster than the library can provide.
It's because he has more time on his hands.
But that's...
Eraser's next area of study.
No, it isn't. The servant began to walk away, ignoring Matthew's glaring anger. The servant stopped, however, to look at Matthew and pound one more nail into the wound.
Let's face it, kid. You have the smallest horns, the smallest frame, and the least amount of power among the noble sons. You'll never be like them, so just stop trying. Use your incubus powers on others who have a child fetish or something.
Oh, hell no! The demon looked at Matthew up and down before rushing off wherever he came from. As the servant disappeared, Matthew summoned a knife and chucked it at the direction the servant left. The knife embedded itself into the hard stone beside the door into the hall.
Hate that guy. Disgusting pig fawn.
That's what he is, a pig fawn. Matthew walked over and sat on the foot of the throne, clearly aggravated. Eventually, Matthew stopped the match, lowering the mirror and holding it in his hands before looking at me.
I had hoped to show you my mother, but I guess the mirror wanted to show you something else. Sorry.
That servant is terrible.
Tell me about it. He served the Demon Lord almost his whole life. Ugly pig fawn.
I agree. Matthew laughed while I laughed at the insult. It was good to see Matthew in a good spirits despite what was shown and what was happening around us. Still, it was sad to see that he was considered the child of the noble sons. He could read books of knowledge that his brother hadn't read and seemed caring. It was insulting to see someone tear him down like that. Matthew smiled at me before pocketing the mirror.
Whatever. Thankfully we got out of there, so I could be with my brothers like a normal family. No hierarchies, no politics, no pig fawns, nothing.
That's the best part, no pig fawns. I smiled. It was good to see that he saw the positive side. However, my face slowly turned to a sad one before he looked down at the bed. Matthew?
You've done a lot for me and my brothers, sheltering us, letting us continue to live here. It may not seem like much, but For us, it's everything.
You're welcome, Matthew.
But I don't want you to get hurt because of us.
I watched in speechless silence as Matthew lifted his head and his eye full of almost hopelessness.
That's why I'm sorry.
Do not be sorry, innocent child. Matthew lowered his head in shame. I couldn't help but feel my heart squeeze within my chest at the sight. He truly cared. Matthew let out a small sigh before looking at me with a new smile. He hid his sadness well, but I could tell he was still upset about the whole ordeal. There we go.
Alright. You need to sleep and I need to make dinner. I'll wake you up when dinner is done.
Matthew gently pressed me back down onto the bed, resolved in what had happened. Steal a kiss? I couldn't let him leave without doing something. I quickly pulled Matthew down to me, lifted my head, and gently kissed him, softly laying a hand on his cheek to keep his face close. Matthew stared in deep surprise before hesitantly kissing me back, caressing my cheek and slightly melting at the touch of our lips. A soft sigh escaped his lips before he slowly pulled away with a smile. He gently licked his lips, making me go red in the face at the simple gesture. He let out a satisfied sigh before nuzzling my forehead. Yes, I will. And with that, he stood up and left the room, leaving me to rest as per his request. I smiled to myself before relaxing into the mattress. Hashtag bitch warning. I suddenly tensed up. I felt major uneasy. Something wasn't right. I felt it in my core. She must be here. U.S. I live in the U.S. Sorry, I'm weirdo. You're not the only one. The thought of her in the room infuriated me beyond belief. I had to make sure she was not there. I rolled out of bed and quickly left my room, wandering the halls and listening closely. She was a demon, but I was listening very intently. There was no way she would have been able to sneak up on me. I know you're here. Where are you? I could feel myself growl. It wasn't a matter of fear that she'd take away the boys anymore. Her very instinct had lit a fire of rage within my gut, which only grew as each day went by. Yep. This feud was getting on my nerves, and I knew it would not end well for one of us. Oh my god, Kylo. I wasn't going to lose to that demon bitch. No, Matthew! My heart stopped. Diana was with Matthew. My mind flew into slow motion, playing fake images of Diana trying to seduce Matthew in my head to further fan the angry flame inside of me. I instinctively followed Matthew's voice. I was approaching the grand lobby and followed the commotion into the dining room. The sound was echoing from the kitchen, so I peeked inside while hiding around the corner. I almost growled at the sight. Matthew was holding the one side of the kitchen's island counter while Diana holding the other side, looking at him with a smirk.
Oh, come on, Matthew. Don't you like games? A game of tag sounds so fun.
Fuck you, Diana. Just fuck you. Oh, fuck you.
Not with you. Now go away.
Thank you, Matthew.
I'm hurt. Wounded, truly. Did I go too far?
You went too far when you came here and attacked her.
Pity. And here I thought I was going to offer you the chance to become something better than just a simple incubus.
What was Diana going on about? More than just an incubus, she was insane.
How about becoming the next demon lord?
How about no? I froze. What did she mean? Becoming the next demon lord? The boys weren't in the demon world anymore. They had no claim to the throne anymore. Matthew stared at Diana, which made me worried.
The next demon lord?
Well, currently, I'm the contracted bride to the heir to the throne. Since the throne is open, it's available to any son of the demon lord's line.
Oh, hell no.
Think about it. You'll gain the throne, the land, and a bride to continue your lineage with. Doesn't that sound like a perfect life for an incubus like you? You'll show your father and mother how grown up you are, that you're not just some little cute boy people can take for granted.
I could feel myself gripping my fist tight in anger. Yeah, I would rather not answer that. That's all. I'm sorry. I could feel myself gripping my fist tightly in anger. How dare this girl try to convince Matthew to return to the demon world? He ran away from it. He didn't have to go back. He shouldn't go back. My mind began to wander, imagining him saying yes. He would leave and the brothers would follow to bring him back. They'd be trapped because Diana would make sure they could never leave. Matthew would be the new demon lord with Diana as his queen, and I'd lose him.
Like I would believe you.
Thank you, Matthew.
You don't need to believe me, Matthew. You just need to come back home with me. I promise you'll be respected as you were supposed to be.
I'm not falling for it.
Thank you, Matthew.
Fall for what? The truth? The truth is that your brothers still treat you like a child, even though the demon world is far behind you. The truth is that your little human love affair is fleeting. She can never see you as a man, just as a little boy who wants to grow up.
Oh, hell no.
Stop it!
Thank you. I stared as Matthew chucked a handful of knives at Diana, who ducked and dodged them with ease. They dug themselves into the tile wall before fading away, as if they didn't exist.
You dare attack me?
Yes, he did.
I'm not going back. And that is final.
Yeah, same. I could see Matthew's muscles tense and flex, wanting to attack Diana. The girl in question, however, took a deep breath and looked at Matthew with a pleading look.
You won't even return to your mother. She's been crying ever since you left.
Oh, how dare you bring his mother into this?
Do not bring her into this.
Thank you. Matthew glared at Diana, circled the island towards him.
She begged me to bring you back. She wants you to get what you deserve. The throne.
I don't believe you.
Matthew then walked away from Diana and headed to the fridge to start dinner. As if she wasn't there, Diana stopped and leaned against the counter.
She'll never love you, you know.
Oh, hell no.
I don't mind. I care for her.
Yay!
The human girl. You must be joking. A human like her can't possibly provide you what you need. She's a human. You're a demon.
And you're a bitch. I felt the urge to storm in and shut her mouth. It would give away my position, but I was growing extremely tired of Diana. But she didn't set her straight. I started to assert and quickly step into the room, rushing to be in front of Matthew. Diana and Matthew looked at me in surprise as I glared daggers at Diana. Get out. Hold on.
Well, well, little human. You're awfully nosy in business that doesn't concern you.
It does concern me.
Does it? I don't think a human would understand the importance of this affair.
I don't give a shit. You're asking him to leave to be with someone he doesn't want to be. That's not going to happen.
Oh? And what makes you so sure about that?
I love him. Diana stared shocked at my exclamation. Was it not what she expected? I didn't care what she expected. I wasn't going to lose the man I had grown to love.
You love him?
Yes, I love him. Diana's lips twitched, the edges curled into an amused smirk as she stared at me.
So what? A human's love isn't enough to understand the situation. A demon can never reciprocate human feeling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. To both of our surprises, however, Matthew stepped forward and put an arm around me, pulling me close to his body.
I love her.
Thank you, innocent cinnamon roll. I saw the confidence Diana had shatter in her eyes as she stared at Matthew at his words. I could see the struggle in her face to try and find some weakness in Matthew. In me, anything.
A demon love a human. Impossible.
It's possible now, bitch.
You heard me. I love her, Diana. I'd do anything for her. And she cares for me more than anyone in the Abyssal Plane ever had. More than you'll ever know. She makes me feel like the adult I'm supposed to be. And there's nothing you can do to change that. Ever.
Thank you. My heart is crying. You're not the only one. Diana took a step back, physically feeling the sting of Matthew's words in her chest. She had lost. I could see it in her eyes. Diana's eyes grew dull as she glared at me and Matthew. It seemed almost uncharacteristic of her, yet it was something I wasn't surprised to see come from her face.
Very well. Fine. Valet.
And with that, Diana faded into the ground into a purple pentagram, crossing her arms and almost looking upset. You thought wrong, bitch. Yep. Matthew and I were then left alone, left with the silence of the room. I finally let out the air I was unconsciously holding in my chest, relaxing from the ordeal. Matthew stepped to me and held me gently, surprising me.
Are you alright?
I nodded in response. Hold on. God damn yours. I nodded in response, unable to speak so immediately after being surprised. Matthew let out a sigh, relaxing in the embrace. I gently placed my hands around him, returning the embrace slightly. I could hear Matthew's heartbeat. He held me close in his arms, and I felt safe beyond words. Are you okay?
Of course I'm okay. I'm holding you.
Yay! I looked up at Matthew, surprised at what he said. Matthew blushed, moving a strand of my hair from my face to look down at me.
You mean so much to me. You make me feel like more than just a kid. I've never felt this happy before with anyone. And here you are giving me every reason to love you.
Yay!
I love you so friggin' much.
Friggin'. I stared wide-eyed, blushing like a maniac. Was this real? No way. This couldn't be real. Was Matthew confessing to me? Confessing his love for me? Matthew gently caressed my cheek, staring into my eyes with a loving, almost hopeful expression. The warmth of his hand invited me to nuzzle into it. Closing my eyes. This wasn't a dream. My heart was pounding hard enough where I was sure Matthew could hear it. Matthew gently leaned in, closing his eyes. He stopped, however, remaining just a mere torturous inch away from my lips. He wanted me to show my feelings for him. He had left himself open for me to kiss him or leave him empty.
Really?
The power I had was unbelievable. Kiss him? I loved him, and I wanted to give him exactly what he wanted. I gently leaned in, letting my lips finally touch his gingerly. Matthew let out almost a surprised gasp against my lips before wrapping both of his arms around my waist, pulling me close to him. I moved my arms up and around his neck, feeling the kiss between us deepen to a heated height. My chest was pounding, making me feel and see fireworks in my mind. Matthew was everything I desired. Anyways, I gotta go. My thing's almost dead, so